I've often thought that it's a shame that more people don't leave some historical log, if you will, for their families to look back on and after they're gone, quite frankly, to be able to say, yeah, I remember so and so and so and so. And I've often regretted terribly a story with my father. He was so full of great, great stories about his days in the military in the First World War, and latterly about his days as an actor. He was on the London stage for 25 years, full of stories about actors long since gone. And I kept on saying to him, Dad, why don't you just write it down? Write it down, I'll write it for you. I'll put out a little tiny recording thing and you just talk. Oh no, I can't be bothered. Come on. And so it's only, if I've told you any stories about him today, it's only from word of mouth. It's not the same thing, quite frankly. It's, you've got to be able to leave something a little more tangible than that, so that your children, your grandchildren, and your grandchildren to come will have something to fall back on and say, oh yeah, well, I never knew him that well, but he tells an interesting story, and I wish I had known him, or whatever. And so that's why I'm glad that we've done what we did today. I'm sure I could dredge up a whole bunch more stories, but it's something for my grandchildren to maybe fall back on someday and say, yeah, I can remember Grandpa telling, or Papa telling us those stories. And yeah, so I think it's very, very important to leave some kind of a family history. And that's basically what it is. And a lot of people will say, oh, well, my stories aren't interesting enough. But you know, once you start, and one thing will drag out another thing, and another thing, and another thing. And before long, you're talking ad nauseum. And people will say, for God's sake, shut up, I don't want to hear anymore. But anyway, it's an important thing. And I think a lot more people should do it. And you know what? People will say, oh, I don't have anything interesting to say. Everybody's got something of interest to say.